मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीथी मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरं
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रजे निज मन मुकुर सुधारी बरनौ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायकु फल चारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहो मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा, भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे, रामचंद्र के काज संवारे, लाय संजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए, रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई, सहस वदन तुम्हरो जस गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे, सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा, यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते, तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना, राम मिलाय राजपद दीना, तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना, जुग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु, प्रभु मुद्रिका मेली मुख माही, जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि, दुर्गम काज जगत के देते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे दे, राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे, सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरन, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना, आपन तेज सम्हारो आपे, तीनों लोक हाकते कापे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे, नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा, संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे, सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे, चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा, हे प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा, साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे, अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे बासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा, तुम्हारे भजन राम को भावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे, अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म है भक्त कहाई, और देवता चित्त न धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई, संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा, जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई, जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूट ही बंदी महा सुख होई, जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा, तुलसीदास सदा हरि तेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महाडेरा, पवन तनय संकट हरण मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुरभूप।
संग्राम में जीवन व्रजप्रियम् धर्म संस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा। ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी।
Jai Shri Krishna, everyone. Knowing Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā and its importance is a major step of life. However, realizing the knowledge of it and implementing it is a lifelong process. Here we are today to delve deep into realizing this divine knowledge as I welcome you all to the latter half of the 7th chapter, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. To begin the session with prayer, I welcome Shyam Dwivedi ji from Bhura, serving as a technical assistant in level 3 and also in various other Geeta exams. Over to you.
वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। जय श्री कृष्ण to all.
Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you, Bhaiya, for the wonderful recitation. Let's subdue the darkness with the light of knowledge. I invite for Deep Prajwalan, Shashirekha ji, who's a homemaker, serving as a trainer in Geeta Parivar and has been with us in the organization since January 2021. Over to you.
निषिद्धैरप्यकृतकर्मणां प्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृताम् कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you, Shashirika ji, for the very beautiful start for our session with a very beautiful depiction of the Lord and flower decorations as well. Learning is one side of the coin. Serving to spread the knowledge is another one. To hold up the slogan, Geeta Padhao, Padhao or Jeevan Mein Lao, we have become a Geeta Sevi event to explain all the ways in which you can render service and be a part of Geeta Parivar on the other end. Please visit the recording, which will be available on YouTube. The live session will be running at 8:30 p.m. today. And there's also another announcement. After the session, it is open to ask questions. So please note down your questions and raise your hand after the session is over. It's time to welcome our speaker for the day. Bhaiya is a very distinguished trainer of Geeta Parivar who has vivid ways of training and explaining the knowledge of Geeta. He is a multilingual with expertise in various Indian as well as foreign languages. Bhaiya guides various Geeta Vratis for higher exams and has himself received the first prize from Param Pujya Jagadguru Sri Shankaracharya. A very warm welcome to respected Vikas Vaidya Bhaiya to enlighten us.
जय श्री कृष्ण। पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन करते हुए विल स्टार्ट सेकंड सेशन ऑफ 7th अध्याय ज्ञान विज्ञान योग. Last time we had covered shlok 1 to 10. Today we'll start from 11th onwards. Today it's the slightly a Herculean task for me because we have to cover around 20 shlokas in one session. So without wasting much time, we'll start with shlok number 11. बलं बलवताय चाहं कामराग विवर्जितं धर्मा विरुद्धो भूतेषु कामोऽस्मि भरतर्षभ. Balam is the strength. Balavatam, of the strong people. Aham, I am. Kam, kamana, passion. Raga is attachment. Vivarjitam, devoid of. Dharma aviruddha, not against the religious principles. Bhuteshu, all living beings. Asmi, I am. Bhartarshava, the best of Bharata, that means Arjuna. Kama is the sex life, the sex desire. So Lord says, Arjuna, those who are free of desire and attachment, I am the strength and power of such strong beings. I am the, so as to say, sex desire in sattvic, which is not contrary. The caveat here is that desire is not contrary to the religious principles and teachings. So Shri Krishna says, I am the strength of those who are bereft or devoid of desires, kamanas, and attachments. Thus, who is the strongest in the world? The one who is free of attachment and desire is the strongest in the world, and their strength, Paramatma says, I am their strength. So just being strong physically or mentally is not enough. An egoist and a person entangled in attachments can also be strong. But the barometer of strength measurement is the presence of desires and attachment. This is the true measurement of your strength. If you are devoid of kamanas and attachments, then you are a strong person. Physically, you may be weighing 50 kgs, doesn't matter. So see, the power, when you get the power boosts your ego. And strength and power, they corrupt the intellect. So how can the Lord use corrupt people to represent him? That's why the Lord says, adds the condition that absence of desire and attachment, kama raga vivarjitam, is a condition. For example, power of wealth is there, but it should be accompanied by humility. Power of politics is there, but it should be accompanied by compassionate heart. Krishna says, I am the strength of such strong people, and I carry out my divine work through them. And if you want to see me, where should you look for me? In such beings, in those individuals who have the desire in accordance with dharma, righteous action, and while staying unattached, those people I represent, Paramatma says. When we look around ourselves, people who are devoid of desires and attachment, two distinct names come in front of our eyes. One is of course, our Narendra Modi ji, the Prime Minister, no attachment, no desires for self, and our Pujya Swamiji, of course. They have no worldly desires and no attachments, and they work only for Loka Sangraha, for the betterment of people at large. So confining yourself in some big cave is not a big deal. You go to Himalayas and hide yourself in a big cave. That's not a big deal. Or not doing anything is also not a big deal. Don't do anything. Then no attachment and nothing. But performing all appropriate actions which are expected to perform and while staying unattached is a big deal. It is easy to link your identity with your body, mind and intellect. But if you link it yourself to your body, mind and intellect, then you have to bear the consequences of the actions which you perform with these attachments. But non-attachment, non-deership, that means no kartrutva abhiman. So slightly difficult to do it, but not impossible. If you have these two attributes, non-attachment and non-doership, then that keeps you free from the bondage. This is what Paramatma says in this shloka. Krishna says, it is I who work through such people who abide by non-doership and non-attachment. Now, even the kama vasana, the sex desire in beings, Paramatma says, it is me. Only and only so long as it is not contrary to the religious and social practices. Dharma aviruddha. It is not against the religious practice and principles. Then that desire is me. Dharma approves, of course, procreative desire to beget the progeny. That is santati utpadan, producing children. That is, of course, required to let this universe keep going on. If people start producing children, what will happen, you can imagine. So thus Paramatma puts this kama bhavana also on a higher pedestal. We are considering this as a heen bhavana, as something to avoid even talking about it. But Paramatma says, so long as you are within the boundary of religious principle, nothing wrong in having that bhavana, and that bhavana is being only provided it is dharma aviruddha. We go to next shloka now. Ye chaiva sattvika bhava rajasastamasascha ye matta eveti tan vidhi natvahanteshu te mai. Paramatma says, all that emerges from sattva, that means mode of goodness, rajasa, mode of passion, and tamasa, mode of ignorance, know that all they happen through me. Yet in the reality, neither I am in them nor they are in me. So these three gunas, Sat, Raja, Tamo, are present in all the pervading essence of Lord and his eightfold apara prakriti, what we discussed last week. Ashtadha prakriti. the 8 constituent Prakriti of Paramatma, which we were calling it as Apara Prakriti. So these Sattva, Rajo, Tamo gunas are a part of that Prakriti of Paramatma. Thus, you cannot say that only Sattva Guna is in God. Paramatma says all 3 gunas emerge from me. So Rajasi and Tamasi also emerge from Paramatma and nowhere else. Ye chaiva sattvika bhava rajasas tamasasya. It means that in this entire universe, all the gunas, that means attributes of things as well as actions, they evolve from Paramatma. Paramatma is the root of everything, the support, the base, the eliminator of all of those. So a man should have inclination towards the Paramatma, towards him, rather than to the mode of goodness or any other modes. All 3 gunas evolve from Paramatma. That does not mean you concentrate only on those gunas and then forget about Paramatma in the process. Because if your inclination is towards the God, it will lead you on the path of moksha, liberation, salvation. While if your inclination is only towards gunas, the gunas will put you under bondage. Even sattvic gunas put you under bondage. You help a needy person in his time of crisis, you give him some loan because he needs funds. He does not return it to you, though he promised he will return. He does not return it to you. That sattvic karma, apparently you have done, has put you under bondage. Because you will have to take birth again to recover that loan from him, and he will have to take birth again to return that loan to you. So these are the bondages of karma that put you, even sattvic karma put you under bondage. So let us remember that all the time we have to concentrate on Paramatma and not on the gunas. Further, Paramatma says, Natvahanteshu te mai. These 3 gunas, though they are evolved from me, but I am not in them and they are not in me. It may appear contradictory statement, but both are true. See, if the gunas were in the God, then they would have never changed or disappeared, because God never changes and never disappears. So these gunas would have become eternal like God. But are they so? No. Similarly, if the God was in those gunas, then God would have changed and God would have disappeared like these gunas disappear. But does the God disappear? Does he change? No, never. So both the statements are true. Natvahanteshu te mai. They are not in me, I am not in them. This is something like the ocean that creates the seashells. But the ocean is not in those seashells. Isn't it? Ocean is not in those seashells. It only creates. Similarly, Paramatma only creates these 3 gunas. They are neither in Paramatma nor Paramatma is in them. Okay, let's go to next shloka now. So we go to 13th shloka now. Tribhir gunamaya irbhavair evhis sarvamidai jagat mohitanna bhijanati mamebhyah paramavyayam. Tribhi is 3. Gunamai, consisting of gunas, 3 gunas. Which gunas? Sattva, Rajo, Tamo. Bhavai, by the state of being in those bhavas of Sattva, Rajo, Tamo. Ebhi is all these. Jagat, universe. Mohitam, getting eluded. Na abhijanati. Abhijanati is to know. Na abhijanati, does not know. Mama, me. Ebhya, abho me. Param is supreme. And avyayam, something which does not get vyay, that means something which does not get perished. That is imperishable. So Paramatma says, in short, in this shloka, Trivir Gunamayir Bhave Revi Sarmidai Jagat Mohitanna Vijanati Mamebhya Paramavyayam. Deluded by 3-fold disposition of nature, that is 3 guna of nature, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance or mode of inertia. So these are the 3 gunas, which is the 3-fold disposition of nature. These are all coming from Prakriti. That is, the embodied soul does not know me, does not even try to know me, because he is deluded by these 3 gunas of Prakriti. He does not know me, does not try to even know me, and I am beyond these 3 gunas and I am imperishable as well. Avyayam. See, this world is a sphere of action for the 3 gunas. Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo. These 3 gunas have constituted your body, your mind, and this entire material world. There is no fourth guna. Entire world is consisting of these three gunas only. Beyond these three gunas, there is no fourth. Furthermore, your mind keeps getting deluded, confused, because attracted towards the sensory objects, it gets deluded. Which are the sensory objects? Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. Which are constituted by these three gunas only. Now, Shabda can be Sattvic, Shabda can be Rajasi, Shabda can be Tamasi. Sparsha, the touch. Touch can be Sattvic, touch can be Rajasi, touch can be Tamasi. Women know this touch sensation much better than the males. What touch is Sattvic, what is Rajasi, and what is Tamasi. So every sense object has these three constituents of Sat, Parajotamo, Sat, Parajotamo. And we get deluded in playing with these senses, gunas, and sense objects. Now we know, until now, we have studied the constituent of our body, that our body is consisting of 5 elements, Pancha Mahabhuta: earth, water, fire, air, and space. The Tamoguna means the worldly objects. Sattva Guna constitutes the mind. Tamoguna, earth elements, form your body. On the other hand, your senses are constituted from the elements of Rajasi Guna. Senses, they represent Rajasi Guna. Your body represents Tamoguna. And the mind is constituted from the elements of Sattva Guna. If I have a flower in my hand, the rose flower, for example, which at the moment it is not, but suppose I have that flower in my hand, and then your senses perceiving its beauty and fragrance are constituted by the Rajoguna, because senses are represented by Rajoguna. Now this fragrance and the beauty is assimilated by your mind, obtained from the senses. Your eyes and your nose, they assimilate the information about the rose flower, which is in my hand, and this comprises, the mind comprises of Sattva Guna. So in this process, we see that the rose, which is a worldly object, is a Tamoguna. The senses which are perceiving that is Rajasi Guna, Rajoguna, and the mind which is assimilating that is Sattva Guna. So this entire world is an interplay of Sattva Rajotamo, Sattva Rajotamo. Your Antakaran, Antakaran means your mind, intellect, and subconscious. Group of these three is called Antakaran. So your Antakaran is created from Sattva Guna, your senses from Rajoguna, and your body along with this entire material world is constituted from Tamoguna. That means at all times, Sattva Guna born Antakaran experiences the Tamoguna born material world through the Rajoguna born senses. Get it once again. Sattva Guna born Antakaran, Antakaran is Sattvic Guni, it experiences the Tamoguna born material world, because material world is all Tamoguna. And how does it experience? Through the Rajoguna born senses. And then the mind through the senses wants the sensory objects. Mind is controlling the senses, and the mind through sense, it desires to have the sensory objects: sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. When the mind instructs the senses to run after a sense object of one of these 5, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, and once the desired sense object are attained, then the mind becomes happy. And when the objects are lost, the mind becomes unhappy. Antakaran, senses, and sense objects, their interplay goes on and on and on throughout our life. Look at any moments of your life, when you are awake, of course, then you will realize that these three are at work at all the times. The interplay of these three, Antakaran, senses, and sense objects, is on at all times when you are awake. thus constantly getting engrossed in this presumably useless activity, interplay. The transcendental nature of this Avinashi, indestructible, Avyayam Paramatma, eternal divine, is totally forgotten because mind is already getting occupied only playing with sense objects, three gunas and antakaran. So it is like deeply absorbed in the creation rather than the creator. It is all creation of Paramatma. We have seen this. Para and Aparador, both are. Now these three gunas, Paramatma says they come from me. Our mind, body, intellect coming from Paramatma. So we get entangled in the creation of Paramatma and the creator in the process we forget. It is like watching a painting, appreciating the painting and not remembering who is the painter. Forgetting, watching a good movie, appreciating the movie, but forgetting who is the producer and director of the movie. Now, have you ever given a deep thought to the fact that the cow eats grass and gives us milk? Isn't it? How? Can we devise a machine in which you feed grass from this side and from the other side you will get the milk? Is it possible to devise such a machine? I'm not talking of some superbly intelligent people who say they will put aloo from here, the potato from here, and other side will give the gold. I'm not talking of those superbly intelligent people, but normal human beings, they cannot devise a machine like this. When you put grass from one side and on the other side you will get the milk. It's not possible. Now, how come that happens? Have we ever thought what kind of machine the God has fitted in the body of cow that it eats grass and gives us milk? We cannot devise that kind of machine. Do we ever think the creator who created and fixed such a machine in the cow? The amazingly wonderful mechanism has been fitted. And this is true for everything that we see in the world. We see how the cow, now we see the cow drink the milk also. After a few days, we will not see the cow also because now the milk also is coming in the packed bag in at our doorstep. So the cows also will be not seen after a few years maybe. We will get the milk. We will forget the creator of the cow and we will forget probably the cow also. It is our habit to get absorbed in the creation and forget the creator. That is what Paramatma says in this shloka. We go to next shloka now, 14th. 14th shloka says, Devi hesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya metantarantite. Devi. Devi is the spiritual. Isha. Isha means this. Gunamai. Consisting of three gunas, three modes of Prakriti. Sat, Para, Jyotamo. Maya. Maya is the deluding or illusionary energy of Paramatma. Maya is also Paramatma, created by Paramatma only. Duratya. Duratya means very difficult to overcome, very difficult to cross. Mama, to me. Prapadyante. Prapadyante is to surrender. Maya metam. Maya metam, this illusionary energy, that means that Maya of Paramatma. Now Paramatma says in this shloka, this divine illusion of mine, that is what we call as Maya. This Maya consisting of three gunas, Sattva, Rajotamo, of the Prakriti, of the nature. Prakriti is Trigunatmak. So these three gunas of Prakriti, Sattva, Rajotamo. Now this Maya is difficult to overcome, to cross over. Because we get entangled in playing with this Sattva, Rajotamo, sense objects, as we discussed in the last shloka. However, those who perpetually worship me alone could penetrate this Maya and be able to safely ferry across this illusion. Illusion is Maya. Now the play of Maya is indeed very, very fascinating. The intellect getting deluded, the mind getting deluded, and the human beings get entangled, entrenched in this material world. That is the fascinating play of Maya. When they get what they want, they are happy. When they don't get what they want, they are unhappy. Someone's birth makes them jubilant. Someone's death makes them sorrowful. sometimes happy, sometimes sad, sometimes excited, sometimes despondent. World is stuck in this game of up and down all the time. We are enslaved to the body, enslaved to the senses, and enslaved to the mind with no knowledge of the ultimate truth. No idea of our Jivatma, no understanding of our real self, and of course, no clue about that Paramatma's Maya, which is making a fool of us and getting all this interplay done from us. Now, these senses, sense objects, and these three gunas of nature make a dancing floor of our life. And we merely keep dancing to their ever-changing tunes. Sattva-rajatamo, and Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, and the senses. For example, how do we keep playing with this? In the morning, I get tea at 7 o'clock every day. One day, I am sitting at my chair, reading the newspaper. 7 o'clock, tea doesn't come. My wife is normally very prompt. She gives 7 o'clock the tea to me. One day, 7 o'clock, tea doesn't come. 7:05, 7:10, 7:15, no tea coming. My mercury level is going up and up. And I start thinking in my mind, I struggle so much for this family, for my wife, for my children, for my parents. Nobody is taking care of me. They don't give a simple cup of tea in time. This is the respect they give me in this house. Are they worth struggling so much by me? Should I really work so hard for them? Nothing is coming in reciprocation, not even a cup of tea coming in time. What is this? So thoughts are coming in my mind like this, which are all tamoguna thoughts. At 7:20, my wife comes with a hot cup of tea in her hand and she says, yesterday we had so many guests, you remember? And I made coffee for them. You also took coffee? Yes, I remember, yes. And then there was no milk this morning for the tea. I went across to the next corner to buy the tea, buy the milk, and then I came back just now and made tea for you. When I know this story, my tamoguna thinking literally gets evaporated and I enter into the sattvic era, thinking, how lovely wife I have got. She takes so much care of me. She went all the way walking to the corner. She bought the milk and she made the tea for me, thinking that I need tea early in the morning. So I am lucky to have such wife. You see how the things are changing? But the mind is playing with this kind of things throughout the life. You sit in the bus or in the train, you give a smile to the person sitting opposite to you. He doesn't reciprocate. You get hurt. You start thinking, yeah, I gave a smile to him. He is not even reciprocating. Your mind is getting occupied with some useless thoughts. After 2 minutes, he smiles back to you and he starts dialogue with you. Kahan ja rahe hain? All that. Then that thought again goes off. Then you become friendly with him. But this is the process in which the mind gets occupied day in and day out, all the 24 hours or whatever time you are awake. And this keeps happening throughout the life. This keeps happening throughout the life. In fact, dancing to this kind of tunes of Prakriti, Satprajatamo, and Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, our sense objects, and these three gunas, as I said, they have made a dancing floor of our life, honestly. And dancing to their tunes, we have become so much expert in dancing that all of us deserve to be given an Oscar in dancing, like that latest song that Natu Natu got for that movie RRR. We are no less than that. We are not less than that in dancing. Shri Krishna says, it is certainly extremely difficult to understand and cross over my Maya. But those who are devoted to me, who wholeheartedly surrender to me, who single-mindedly contemplate upon me, they will be able to overcome this delusion of Maya. People like us who have not read Geeta or who have not understood probably Geeta, now we of course understand Geeta, but people who have not read Geeta, they have not understood Geeta, they keep playing in this Maya of Paramatma and never come out of Maya to realize the real creator of this Maya. We need to reach the creator, not keep playing with the Maya. Bhagavad Gita is the way. It unfolds this Maya in front of us. It paves a way for us to cross over this Maya Paramatma. It is like a torch of Jnana in our hand, which will help us to show the way in this dark night called Maya. If we understand Gita well, we have found the way. We have found the way. We go to next shloka, 15th now. Namandushkritano moodah prapadyante naradhamaha maya paratadjnana asuram bhavamashritah. Now devotees who don't come to Paramatma. We have seen devotees who come to Paramatma. Now Paramatma says who don't come to him. Dushkritin, the miscreant. Mood, foolish. Prapadyante, surrender. Naradhama. Naradhama is the lowest among mankind in character. Maya, that Maya Paramatma, Maya. Paramatma says, these people who don't come to me, they come in these categories. In Slok 14, Paramatma had said, those who take refuge in me, they alone cross over this divine illusion of Maya. Then why all the beings don't take refuge in Paramatma and follow his advice? Paramatma says, no, not everybody comes to me. Paramatma says, those whose discriminatory wisdom, that means his Viveka Buddhi, has been destroyed by delusion of Maya. He keeps playing with the Maya only. He keeps playing with the worldly pleasures only. The lowest among mankind, Naradhama, the evildoers, Dushkriti, no, and the utterly foolish, Mudha, and those having succumbed to their own demonic ways of life, Asuri Parvati. They don't take refuge in me, they don't seek me. You ask a young person to attend a spiritual discourse, say Geeta Pravachan, at some place in the city. You tell him that I am going, can you come with me? We will attend Geeta Pravachan. He will retort back at you, oh, uncle, are you mad or what? I have other interesting thing to do in the evening. You ask your neighbor who is a very wealthy, greedy person to attend a 3-day shibir with you on meditation. He will also snap back, are you crazy? 3 days, I earn 3 lakhs. I don't have that much time to waste for that shibir. What are you talking? So those who are entrenched in their family, you ask some people like this, some grandma of some grandma like lady, and she will come back to you with some family attachment reasons saying that, oh no, I cannot come. My Guddu or my Pappu or my Bubbly, whatever the granddaughter or grandson name is, cannot stay without me even for a day. So how can I come out for 3 days? So Paramatma says, these people, they never come to me. They get entangled in their own world. The Lord says, those whose minds and intellect have been deluded by Maya, such people don't remember me. Shri Krishna further adds that those who have these demonic attributes, Asuri Pravritti, they too don't come to me. Now what is Asuri Pravritti? We studied in 16th Adhyaya, Devasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. What are the Asuri Gunas and what are the Daivi Gunas? So some of the Asuri Gunas are eat excessively, sleeping excessively, and indulging excessively in the sense gratification. And when you are tired of sense gratification, again follow the same route of sleeping excessively, eating excessively, and again same cycle keeps going on and on. So these are the people who are of Asuri Pravritti. So no time, no thought to spare for Paramatma. Thus such people, Paramatma says, they don't come to me. What a waste of human life and human time, you see. So people who don't come to me, Naman Dushkudana Muda, Prapadyante Naradhamaha, Maya Paratadhyana, Asuram Bhavamashitaha. So these are the people who, they don't seek me, they don't come to me, they don't take refuge in me. These are the people who don't come to me, then who comes to you, Paramatma? So this is a question which comes to our mind. That question is being replied by Paramatma in this shloka, shloka number 16. Who comes to me? Who are my devotees? Paramatma says, Chaturvidha bhajante mai jana sukrutino arjuna arto jitnya surartharthi jnani cha bharatarshabha. Chaturvidha, 4 kinds of people. Bhajante. Bhajante is to give, render devotional service. Jana is of course people. Sukrutin. Earlier shloka was talking of dushkrutin, now sukrutin. Dushkrutin where people who are doing evil things, evil doers. Sukrutin is people who do pious, sattvic work. So there is sukrutin. Now there are 4 types of devotees who come to Paramatma. Paramatma says Artha, Jnyasu, Artharthi and Jnani. What are all these? We'll see. So these 4 kind of people come to me, Paramatma says. The first are those who seek material wealth to feel the void of whatever discontentment they have in life. So they want to feel that with material wealth. Shri Krishna says, such people worship me not because they seek me, they want me, but because they want fulfillment of one or more of their desires from this world of Maya. So these are the Artharthi people. Artharthi. People who seek wealth and material benefits from Paramatma. Other category is of people who are distressed by some or the other sorrow in their life. Somebody in the family is deeply sick of some terminal disease or some such thing. They have lost big money, something. So such people remember God only when some calamity falls on them. And thus they frequently visit the temples to seek the God's favor, to allay or to remove their miseries from the life. But there are some people who invite this kind of miseries in life. They say, we have no problem with handling miseries. Kunti, the mother of all Pandavas, Kunti, she used to say to Lord Krishna that please continue to give me the grief. Don't give me the happiness all time. I don't want happiness only. I want to remember you more and more. And I do so when I am in grief, when I am in sorrow. So continue to shower grief and sorrow on me. What a strange devotee people can be. So these 2 people, Arth and Artharthi. Arth and Artharthi, these are the devotees who are found most frequently in the temples or any other places of worship. You'll find them in temples or any other places of worship here and there, seeking either wealth, fulfillment of some desire, or taking care or removing some of their miseries. Now it is interesting to know that such people are prepared to do anything which they normally never do. For example, a Artha or Artharthi devotee is asked by a Pandit in the temple that he is under some diverse influence of some planet. Normally they blame the planet, Shani, Rahu, Ketu, something like that. And due to this Mahadasha, he may have to face some accident or even go to jail or maybe lose a lot of money. And in order to escape this likely calamity, he needs to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do chanting of some specific mantras. Now this person who normally would not get before 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, he will get up at 3 o'clock and do the chanting. Or someone is told on Lakshmi Pujan day of Diwali that you chant this Mahalakshmi's mantra from 6 o'clock in the evening till 1 o'clock in the night. And if you do this, you will get a lot of money. You will get big benefit in stock market, or you may win some lottery also. So we will sit chanting that mantra right from 6 o'clock. When everyone in the family is enjoying the Diwali crackers and Diwali sweets, this person is sitting in his Deva room, in his temple, in that house, and he chanting that mantra. So people are prepared to do anything to get their fulfillment of their kamana, their desires, Artha and Artharthi. These devotees, they do not need Paramatma, they need to attain Paramatma's Maya. The only thing that goes in favor of such devotees, which are Artha and Artharthi, is that they have deep faith in Paramatma, they have deep faith in God, and they firmly believe that whatever they want in life, only and only their God can give, no one else. Third category of people is inquisitive. Inquisitive people, Jidnyasu, seeker of knowledge. The one who has the real desire to know the real essence of God. He wants to know the God in reality. So this inquisitive neither has any desire for the material life, nor does he want any alleviation of life miseries. He has a pure mind. He has a pure mind, and what he wants to know is about the God. and he worships the God with that intention only. Fourth category is of Jnani, that is the wise, who has known the real essence of God, who has realized himself, whose ignorance has been shattered, whose, so as to say, burkha or veil, what they call it, of delusion has been lifted, yet he continually abides in the remembrance of God. Small story telling about these four categories. It is given in the books also. Four boys were playing, four brothers were playing in the front yard of their house. Just then their father came with 4 mangoes. At the sight of mangoes, one of the sons is strongly requested and asked for the mango. The second one cried loudly for the mango. Both were given 1 mango each by the father. The third one only looked at the mango, and the fourth one continued with his play without bothering about anything, without having a look also at the mangoes. The father, of course, gave 1 mango each to both of them also. So the first person who asked for mango as soon as father entered is Artharthi. Second who cried loudly for mango is Artha. Third one who just looked at mango is a Jidnyasu. And fourth one who did not bother about mango at all, he kept on his business, his activity, is a Jnani. So these are the 4 people, 4 types of devotees. Paramatma says, they come to me, they take refuge in me. We go to next shloka, 17th. Teshai jnani nityayukta eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hidyaninotyartham aham sajama priyaha. Tesham, out of them, out of those 4 devotees, Artha, Artharthi, Jidnyasu and Jnani, out of those 4, Nityayukta. Nitya is always, Yukta is getting engaged. Vishishyate. Vishishyate is special. Jnaninam, the person having wisdom. Artha, Jidnyasu, out of them the Jnani person. So Paramatma says in this shloka, the one who is unceasingly established me in oneness, he and me are one. He sees like that. He worships me like that, that he and me are one. And who is always devoted to me, such a Jnani, the person with high wisdom, is incomparably supreme. I am very dear to him, such a Jnani devotee of mine, and he is very dear to me as well. So he is the wisest who wholeheartedly and single-pointedly seeks the God. Among 4 kinds of devotees, the sage who acts with supreme, with one-minded devotion is closest to God. That devotee has an unconditional love. He loves God without any selfish intent, without any selfish motive, without any business-like agreement. I will pray for you, and in exchange you give me this. No such business agreement with the God. But between that devotee, Jnani, and God, there is a deeper exchange. What is the exchange? Of love and affection. The Jnani devotee's devotion gets spontaneously activated without any reservation. He doesn't have to try for it, because it is offered in full faith, without and with love. When you become one with Paramatma, whatever are the Paramatma's gun, they start coming slowly and slowly into you. The omniscient creator, the sole giver of all things, knows every necessity of beings. This is the Jnani knows that I don't want to ask anything to Paramatma. He knows what I want, what I should get and what I should not get. So the Jnani is content with whatever the God deems best for him, or withholds whatever is not good for him. God doesn't give you a lot of money because money finds way in different Rajasi or Tamasi activities. So if you get less money, don't complain. It is in your interest. Okay, we go to next shloka, 18th now. Okay, now Jnani is very dear to Paramatma. What about the remaining 3? They are not dear to Paramatma. Paramatma doesn't like them. No, Paramatma says they are also okay. Udara sarva evaite jnani tvatmaiva me matam astasya hi yuktatma mameva anuttamangatim. Udara. Udara means udar, magnanimous, noble. Sarve, all. Jnani, with that person, with wisdom. The Lord says that certainly all devotees devote themselves unto me. And thus they all are good. They too are all good. But Jnani is unified with me, and thus, in essence, he is me. That's why he is dear to me. All are good. This is my opinion, Paramatma says, because the Jnani's refined intellect is firmly established in my cosmic essence. The essence is he is me. That is what our relationship is between the two of us, Jnani and me. This is the relationship. He is me. Now see how Krishna comforts even those who remember him only with some selfish intent. Artha and Artharthi, they remember with some selfish intent. But Paramatma says, they are also good. They are good. The Lord says, those who remember me for taking care of their sorrow in the life or for fulfillment of their desire, kamanas, they too are good. Because at least they are taking some time out and taking efforts to remember me. Okay, they do it with some selfish intent, forgive. If they are remembering me. And who knows, while praying, while singing Lord's praise, bhajans, they may experience some such peaceful state of being that they realize the uselessness of their demands and their desires and their problems. And remember me only for the sake of remembrance. The stage may come. When we go to Paramatma several times in the temple asking for this, that, one day we ourselves get fed up and we start getting ashamed of our own behavior. That every time coming to Paramatma begging for something, is it right? And then you stop begging. So that moment may also come in the life of that Artharthi and Artha people, and they will remember me only for the purpose of remembering, not for demanding something from me. Then that person will get elevated to the category of Jidnyasu, the inquisitive devotee, what we discussed, who remembers God only. And mind you, this change may come unknowingly and abruptly without any specific efforts from that Artha or Artharthi. It can come without knowing, abruptly. And he finds himself as a Jidnyasu instead of Artha or Artharthi. We go to next sloka, 19th. Bahunaya janma namante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlavaha. Bahunaya janma namante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti. Paramatma says in this sloka that after innumerable births, the Jnani finally attains that supreme knowledge and knows me to be the cause of all that. Such a great being is indeed very rare. Mahatma Durlabha. It takes several lifetimes. This perfection is not attained in one lifetime. This is because there are millions of sanskars accumulated from several of our past lives. And then having a healthy body is also imperative to be able to continue our spiritual practices. In fact, the one whose body is unhealthy cannot continue with his spiritual practice. And you cannot have a healthy body if you don't follow the rules of yama and niyama. What is yama? Non-violence, truthfulness, non-stealing, non-hoarding, and celibacy. These are the 5 rules which constitute yama. And what is niyama? Niyama is cleanliness, austerity, self-study, that is swadhyaya, contentment, and surrendering to God. These are the niyama. It takes lifetime just to follow the rules detailed in yama and niyama. Yam and niyam, understanding this itself takes one lifetime. Then some more time is needed for perfection of asanas and pranayam. Asanas and pranayam, they impart benefit to not only to your body, to your mind as well. And their perfection needs another lifetime also to do. Then there is pratyahara. What is pratyahara? Withdrawal of senses from the sense objects. This practice you have to do. That may take one lifetime. Then comes dharana. What is dharana? Dissociation of mind from the senses. Take out your mind from the senses. Senses and sense objects, let them do what they want. Mind is not involved. So, disassociation of mind from senses is dharana. And if these are not perfected, how will you move onto the stage of dhyana? That is above dharana. After dharana, you enter into dhyana. And without dhyana, how can you attain the state of samadhi? So if you have to attain samadhi, you have to follow yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and then samadhi. So this doesn't happen in one lifetime. This doesn't happen in one lifetime. Paramatma says it takes many lifetimes. Bahunaya janma namante jnanavanam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. Such a person is rare. That is why Lord says it takes several lives to reach the concluding life when the person finally attains the highest knowledge. When the Jnani realizes himself, he realizes God. Such a Jnani, he sees God alone and alone in everything and every being. The Lord says, such a rare and blessed being is united with me, and there is no distinction between me and him. We are one. We go to next sloka, 20. कामैस्तैस्तैरतज्ञानः प्रपद्यन्ते न देवताः तन्तन्नियममास्ताय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया. Kama is kamana, desires. Taitai means various. Prapadyante, surrender. Tam, corresponding. Prakrutya is the nature, of course. So Paramatma says in this shloka that the deluded people whose intellect is confused by different desires, kama is teste rata jnana. Aparat means to steal, to hijack. What? Jnana. Who steals that jnana? The kamana of different types. Kama is teste rata jnana. Different kamanas stealing your wisdom, your jnana. So such people, they pray to seek from other gods. They pray to other gods, not Paramatma. Owing to their deluded nature, they perform different rituals and precepts or different rites related to them. If you go to a particular deity, particular demigod, then you have to follow the rules which are prescribed for worshipping that demigod. Ganesha, you should go with red color flowers. Shankarji Bhagwan, you should go with white flowers. Or Lakshmiji, you should wear this kind of sari or that kind of thing. So these are the rules and regulations which you have to follow when we worship different types of demigods. And don't worship the Paramatma. People go to different demigods because they feel their kamanas can be satisfied, their kamanas can be fulfilled by going to those demigods. The reality is that those people who have been living in mind, senses, body and the eightfold Prakriti of Paramatma, they cannot easily reach super soul. Have you seen any temple in the world which is called Paramatma temple? We don't see, no? We see temple of other deities, Ganesha temple, Shri Ram temple, Shri Krishna temple, Shri Ganesha temple, Mahesha temple, all that we see. But we don't see Paramatma temple. At least I have not seen. In Indonesia, they have a temple where there are no idols, but even then they are not called Paramatma temples. So they worship different devatas, gods, and seek and get the perishable results. They go to other devatas to get their kamanas fulfilled of material life maybe or their own personal life, but their results are perishable. They are therefore bound to shuttle up and down, back and forth on that treadmill of life and death. So they don't get rid of this cycle of birth and death when they start going to other demigods for fulfillment of their desires, their kamanas. Kama is teste rata jnana. Now, the $1 million question is it wrong to worship other deity? No, not at all. It is not wrong. The mistake by those devotees of other deities, other demigods, is that they consider their deity and their demigod as different than Paramatma, different than God. They consider, I am a person, my demigod, my Ishta Devata is different, and Paramatma is some third person. So they create, instead of Dvaita Bhav, they create three people, themselves, their demigod, and Paramatma. Paramatma objects to this kind of thinking. If they see Paramatma in their demigod too, then they can worship any god they prefer to. Nothing wrong. Don't differentiate and don't consider that their demigod is different than the Paramatma. Consider your demigod as Paramatma, Paramatma says. Okay, we go to next shloka quickly. Shloka number 21. Yo yo yayantanam bhakta shraddhaya architamichhati tasya tasyachalam shraddhan tameva vidadamyaham. Yeah means whoever, yam means whenever, whichever. Tanum is the body. Body means that demigod, form of that demigod. Shraddhaya is faith. Achalam is steady. So Paramatma says, whichever deity a devotee wants to worship with faith, I allow him to do that. Very good. He can continue to have that faith in that demigod. In fact, I make his faith in that very deity firm. Achalam. I make his faith in that deity to which he is worshipping firm and unwavering. I fortify his faith in that deity. That means Paramatma, the God, values the merit of devotion. Even those worshippers who worship other deities, God makes even their faith steady because devotion is important. No prayer without devotion, be it to any God, is complete. So devotion is important, and Paramatma values the devotion with which these people go to other deities. God wants to stabilize the bhakti rasa in us, the devotional intent in us. And then it could be for any deity. It could be for any demigod. Once the bhakti is stabilized in whichever deity, the journey of that being on the path of spirituality starts. That is what the Paramatma wants. People out of fear or out of getting kamanas fulfilled worship other deities. If I don't worship this deity, maybe he will be upset with me. I will get some loss here and there. So for whatever reasons, it starts, that spiritual journey. It starts, it is welcomed by Paramatma. Paramatma says, well done. Go ahead. Continue to worship other deities. I will make your belief in that deity more firm. How? That we'll learn in the next sloka. And as he progresses on that path, sooner or later, he may realize the hollowness of his demands and the kamanas. And then his devotion may become nishkam. Paramatma is waiting for that day. Paramatma has got patience in abundance. He can wait for that day to come when our kamana become nishkam. No kamana. Next sloka. Tataya shraddhaya yuktastasya adhanamihate labhate jatatah kaman mayaiva vihitan hitan. Shraddhaya, the inspiration. Yukta, aradhanam, for the worship. Labhate is to obtain. So Paramatma in short says in this sloka that maintaining such faith in those gods or those deities, which in turn is prompted by the motive of desire fulfillment. When they get desire fulfilled, their shraddha in that demigod becomes more firm, isn't it? So the individuals, they keep worshipping a particular deity or demigod, and then sanctioned by me, he obtains which he desired through that said deity. He has asked for some particular fulfillment of kamana. My daughter gets married. I help him in getting his daughter married. He thinks his deity has helped him in getting daughter married. Whereas the benefits are bestowed by me alone, but through that deity to whom he is worshipping. Now people want to get something or the other. When they get their faith, shraddha gets stronger. Faith can do wonders. An ordinary man wanted to get some special power. This is a small story. Siddhi. You know people who have Siddhi. They do like this and something will come out of their hands. They do like this and some idol will come in their hand. So this is called Siddhi. So he worshipped a sadhu. He went to a sadhu who was actually a materialistic sadhu. He was not a real sadhu, but the poor fellow, he went to that sadhu and said, I want to learn Siddhi. Will I get Siddhi? The sadhu said, yes, you give me service for 12 years and after 12 years, you will get Siddhi. So he faithfully served that sadhu for 12 years. Was not worth serving, but he had deep faith in his guru. So he served him. At the end of 12 years, he said, Guruji, now please teach me the techniques of acquiring the special power, the Siddhi. The sadhu said, oh my dear, you have already served me for 12 years. Now you already have that power. The poor fellow was surprised. I have that power. Yes. What do you want? You go to the river now and you can walk on water. The fellow was shocked. He said, can I really walk on this thing, water? He said, yes, you have served me. Now you have that power. So having deep shraddha deep faith in his Guru, the Shishya, he went running to the river. And then, what a magic, he could walk on the water. So the Sadhu himself now was shocked. He said, my God, this fellow really is walking on water. Now I am his Guru. I should also be able to walk because my Shishya is walking on water. I should also be able to walk. And he put his foot on the river. Then what happened? He went down because no Shraddha. That disciple of him had deep Shraddha. So Shraddha can do big magic. Paramatma says, Shraddha. Which Shraddha? They go to that deity and I make their Shraddha firm in that deity. We go to next sloka now, 23rd. Antavattu phalantesham tadbhavattalpamedasam devan devayajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. Paramatma says, people with limited understanding, they worship demigods for desire fulfillment, but the fruits of such prayers are limited and temporary. Their devotion starts and it ends. Similarly, the phala, the karma phala, the result, return, reward they get, it also starts and it gets finished. So those who worship demigods, they attain demigods, but my devotees, they attain me. So what is a devotee? A devotee regards even the most dreadful situations as a part of his prarabdha karma. He never complains. He says, this is my prarabdha. I think last week we discussed about prarabdha. So I think we discussed Kriyaman, Sanchit and prarabdha last week. So he accepts his prarabdha and he accepts it calmly without being upset or agitated. Without being calm or upset or agitated. Now this is easier said than done. To remain unagitated or to remain calm. Because when faced with an unfavorable or very disastrous event, all the herd knowledge about spirituality, about Adhyatma goes out of window. You start walking on the path of spirituality to get ready for such situations without getting flustered or rattled. But when that moment really occurs in your life, then you get shaken by the event and forget all the words of wisdom that you have so far learned on that path of spirituality. Then we keep saying, when we say normal dialogue, what we have is, oh, I am blessed. The Lord's grace is on me. The Guru's grace is on me. Such sentiments, unfortunately, are in your heart only as long as the things are favorable and happening in accordance to your wishes. But no sooner than adversity, disease, or some calamity event occurs in your life, then your faith evaporates. Faster than the drop of water, it evaporates. Then you start complaining. Is God sleeping? Why can't he see my pain? What wrong I have done that you are punishing me? Oh God, how good and charitable I have been throughout my life. I am seeing, reading Geeta every day. I am attending Geeta Pravachan every day. And you punish me like this. What is this? In return, you give me this. So thus you blame God or your Guru, whosoever. But whatever distance you have walked on the path of spirituality, you have understood a basic teaching. You have not understood rather the basic teaching that the speed breaker comes and slows down the speed of your life. The adversity is nothing but a speed breaker in your life that slows down the flow of life. And what is life? Life means change. Same situation does not remain throughout your life. So it's a mixed bag of happy and unhappy events. That is what you have been taught in your path of spirituality, but you forget that. So the follower of Swamiji once told his son that one devotee of Swamiji, he told Swamiji that his son-in-law had been suffering from cancer. After a few days, when he met again Swamiji, so Swamiji asked him, how is your son-in-law? Is he responding to the treatment? The devotee very jovially replied, saying that he has been promoted. He used to live with us. Now his promotion has made him to live with the God. What a sense of humor. In such kind of tough situations, you still have a sense of humor. Whatever is inevitable, you cannot avoid. But how you face that inevitable is the skill. It is in such moments of adversity that you get tested on your imbibed knowledge. You might have read all Adhyasa Geeta, you might have understood, you might have attended so many Vivechana Satras, but such moments test your knowledge, such moments test your experience and how much Manan Chintan you have done of what you have learned. So your spiritual practices of Dhyana, Gita, Chintan, etc., they come to help when you face such moments in life. When situation is normal, all of us will score 10 out of 10 with our wisdom. But when our real prowess gets revealed, gets tested, only at the time when we face such exam in our life. In a sense, although you have grown up physically, yet in your heart, you are still a child. A child who constantly seeks appreciation, a pat on his back, oh, good boy, you are a very good boy. So that patting you need all the time, though you are a grown-up person now. All that has changed is your toys of playing. Now you need a big house. Now you need a jazzy car than what your neighbor or your colleague or your relative has. So your toys of playing have changed. You are not changed. You are still a kid. So God says, you get what you desire and aspire for. Thus one who lusts for material world, he attains material objects. And the one who is absorbed in me, my remembrance, he attains me. This is what the Lord says in this shloka. So the ball is in your court now. The choice is all yours. If you want worldly objects, remember that too you get because of His grace. On the other hand, when you think enough is enough in this material world, and then you immerse yourself in the remembrance of God, then you will attain Him. This is a promise from God. Thus, if there is no God in your life, it is your fault because you don't want God. The worshipper of demigods at the most can reach the heavens. But from heavens, they have to return to this mortal world again. But the worshipper of Paramatma, they attain Him only, and then they don't have to return. Then they don't have to return. Okay, I think we should cut short and go to the next shloka now. This shloka is worth discussing for much more time, but we'll go to next shloka, 24th. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mama buddhyaha param bhavajananto mama vyamanuttamam. Avyaktam, the unmanifested, non-manifested, vyaktim, personality, apannam, to achieve. Lord says, people lacking in intellect and having blurred discrimination, blurred vivek buddhi, not very intact buddhi, believe me as having form and body like men. They consider me as a person, as an individual, as a human being like them. But they are unaware of my supreme, unmanifested and unsurpassable, never-changing reality. They don't understand that I am manifest myself in a form by virtue of my own Maya. If I come into existence like a human being, it is because of my Maya only. What is the essence of Paramatma? Paramatma is intangible and imperceptible. Shri Krishna says, my real essence cannot be perceived through senses. It is beyond senses, mind and intellect. I am indestructible, imperishable and eternal. Whereas the senses, mind and intellect are all destructible and perishable. So how can you know the indestructible Krishna through the destructible sense, mind and intellect? Lord has already said, Manushyanam Sahasreshu. Hardly one in billions of people know me and my real essence. We go to next shloka, 25th. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrataha mudho yanna vijanati loko mamajam avyayam. Aham, I. Prakash. Prakash is to become visible, manifest. Sarvasya, to all. Samavrata is to get covered. Abhijanati, to understand. Na abhijanati is not to understand. So Paramatma says in this shloka that being concealed in my yoga maya, Paramatma covers himself in his yoga maya. So Paramatma says, being concealed in my yoga maya, I am not manifest to everyone. The ignorant are unaware of my real essence, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and indestructible. Unborn and indestructible. Now each year on the occasion of Janmashtami, we people celebrate the birthday of Shri Krishna. And here Shri Krishna says clearly that he is unborn. So are we celebrating the birthday of unborn? The Lord says, I am indivisible. I am not confined to one particular space. I am boundless. I am limitless. I am beyond the concept of space and time. Shri Krishna says, Yoga Maya camouflages my infinite essence in such a way that human beings, they remain unaware of my real nature. And how to cross that Maya? Paramatma already said, you take refuge in me, you contemplate your mind totally on me, and then probably you can cross over that Maya. So I am intangible and hence unmanifest to ordinary perception. After all, how can you perceive the imperceptible? Paramatma is imperceptible. How can you perceive him? Okay, we go to next shloka, 26. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani ja bhutani mantu vedana kaschana. Ved means to know. Samatitani, complete past. Vartamanani, present. Bhavishyani, future. Bhutani, all living beings. So Paramatma says in this shloka that Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani ja bhutani mantu vedana kaschana. Arjuna, I am the knower of everything, be it of the past, present or future. I know all the things and all beings, but no one knows me. Paramatma is complaining at the same time. I know everything of everybody of his past, present, future, but no one knows me. You know, it is like we are watching a movie in a theater, say for 2.5 hours. We are sitting in our seat comfortably, eating maybe popcorn. And in that 2.5 hours time, we see maybe 100 years history in front of us on the screen. The characters, they play in front of us, but we see their past, we see their present, and we see their future as well in that small time span of 2.5 hours. For us, it is present only. For them, the characters playing on the screen, it is a matter of 100 years, time span of 100 years. For us, it is a matter of only 2.5 hours, present tense for us. For them, it is past, present, and future. Similarly, in this universe, we are playing the drama on that big screen. We are all the characters dancing and acting on that big screen, and Paramatma is sitting in the chair and he is watching us. So for Paramatma, there is no tense. Paramatma is Kalatit. Past, present, future is for those characters who were on the screen, like we now. We, for us, past, present, future, but for Paramatma, there is no time. He is beyond time. He is Kalatit. We go to next shloka, 27. Ichchadved samuthena dvandvamohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Ichha, desire. Dvesh, hate. Duality. Duality. Dvandva is duality. Mohena. Mohena is illusion. So Paramatma says in this shloka that Arjuna, all beings are entangled into delusion as a consequence of dualities arising from desire and aversion. These are the two things which rule our life, desire and aversion. And thus they are entrenched in the darkness of ignorance, forcing them to follow this cycle of birth and death. They don't come out of this because desire and aversion. So our desires and aversions, they keep us busy throughout the life. Our mind space is mostly occupied by these, only leaving hardly any time or any mental space for remembrance of the Supreme. As we discussed a couple of examples of morning tea, bringing wife here and there. Also, suppose you are helping an old man and you help him to open the door of the lift. He gets in, you go in, he doesn't look at you. He doesn't respond to the help that you have given him by opening the lift door. You feel bad. He goes up. When he gets down from the 6th floor, he profusely thanks you that time. So, settled. But in that small time span of maybe half a minute, you have gone through hate, and love again. Whole life gets wasted into this plague only. Sagun Sakar. Should I worship Sagun Sakar or Nirgun Nirakar? Should I spend time with my friends or should I do some Adhyatma? All duality of thoughts keep coming to our mind. This is also one type of duality. Getting confused what to do in life. So such useless thoughts, they keep us busy all the time and take us away from our Lord. Ultimately, this taking away from Lord, it results in our getting entangled in the cycle of birth and death again and again. We ignore the Lord. Next shloka, 28. Yesham tvantagatam papai jananam punyakarmanam te dvandvamoha nirmukta bhajante mandrudavrataha. Yesham, whose antagatam. Antagatam means completely gone, eradicated, vanquished. Jananam, of the people. Karmanam, whose previous activities. Nirmukta, free from. Drudavrata. Druda is with some kind of determination. So Paramatma says, but those performing virtuous, that means sattvic, good acts, not prompted by any hidden desire that I do this and I will get this in return. No such hidden desire, whose sins have been destroyed and who are free from delusion of duality, the duality that we discussed. Such beings are resolutely devoted unto me and steadfastly they worship me. Now Paramatma says their sins have been destroyed. How the sins can be eradicated? How the sins can be destroyed? They can be destroyed by performing nishkam karma, carrying out virtuous acts and offering them to the Lord, not keeping anything with us. Shri Krishnarpanavastu. Do all good jobs and offer it to Shri Krishnarpanavastu. Charity, austerity, mantra chanting, seva are all our virtuous acts. However, please remember that these acts are to be carried out without egoistic mind. Then only they will be called as virtuous acts. In fact, they will further inflate your ego if you do it with egoistic mind. That I am doing charity, I am doing mantra chanting, I am offering this seva free of cost, I am not charging anything. Your ego gets bigger and bigger ego will again put you in trouble. It will add to the list of sins which are already there in your balance sheet. So don't expect even appreciation of your virtuous acts. Do offer it to the God and forget about it. This is the mantra. Do your virtuous acts, offer it to the God, Shri Krishnarpanavastu, and forget about it. Start a day afresh. Don't think about what you did yesterday. I did so much of good work and all that. Okay, next shloka, 29. Jara marana mokshaya mama shritya tantiye te brahma tadvidah prastam adhyatmang karma chakilam. Jara. Jara means old age. Marana, death. Mokshaya, the liberation, salvation, moksha. So Paramatma says in this shloka that having surrendered to me and striving for liberation, moksha, salvation, and also liberation from old age and death, they come to know the Parabrahma, knowledge of self and knowledge of karma, when they surrender to me and they strive for liberation from old age and death. Now the important point here is surrendering to Lord and then taking efforts for our liberation. How to surrender? Lord, Shri Krishna, I am yours and you are mine. I surrender completely to you. I take refuge in you. The surrendering into divine, then strive for liberation from sufferings of old age and disease and death. You can't avoid these three stages of life. Old age, disease and death, no one can avoid this. But the sufferings from them you can avoid. And this is the objective. So these are the stages which no one can avoid, but the suffering from them can be avoided. Paramatma says, see, both the conditions are to be fulfilled. Taking refuge in Paramatma, surrendering into Lord, and offering all your actions to Him. And then sincerely trying on the path of spirituality. There is no alternative to taking efforts by yourself. Neither the God nor your Guru can do it on your behalf. This walking you have to do yourself. By surrendering to God, you are in effect relinquishing, giving up your I. Then all actions are done with the sentiment that Lord is doing all the actions, I am not there. Through this body of mind, intellect, and mind, God is doing all the actions. God, it is you who enables me to do singing your praise. God, it is you who is making me to do this vivechana. God, it is you who is making me to chant your mantras and all other virtuous acts. So it is you who is making my mind peaceful, and it is you, God, who is enhancing my sattva guna. Thus, the one who has both wings, one wing of surrender and another wing of efforts, he alone can go high and touch the shikhar, the pinnacle of our spiritual evolution. But these two wings you have to use, surrender and efforts. Now we go to the last shloka of this adhyay. Sadhivūtādidaivamam mam sadhiyajne ca ye viduh prayanakale pichamanti viduryukta chetasaha. Adhibhut, Adidaiva, Adiyajna. So Paramatma's prayanakal. Prayanakal is at the time of death, when you do prayan from this universe. So Paramatma says in this shloka, he who knows me as Adhibhut, Adidaiva and Adiyajna. The mind of such a jnani is steadfastly absorbed in me, and he attains me even at the time of death. What is Adhibhut? Adhibhut refers to that which is created and which will get destroyed. This Srishti is Adhibhut. So the tangible material world has been created from 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air and space. Adhibhut refers to this entire material world. What is Adhidaiva? Adhidaiva refers to the sentient, that means the Chetana, the Samvedana, Jiva, which enables the body, mind and intellect to perceive, to experience this material world. So the life of material world is Adhidaiva. And what is Adiyajna? Adiyajna is Parabrahma itself, Lord Vishnu. The all-pervasive Supreme Satchidananda is Adiyajna. Arjuna, Lord says to Arjuna, the one who knows these 3 roles of mine, of Adhibhut, Adidaiva and Adiyajna, as the creator, as the experiencer and as the Supreme Parabrahma, then such a jnani, he attains me even at the time of death. This shloka, incidentally, is also the beginning of Adhyaya number 8, where Arjuna will start asking question about these 3 things, Adhibhut, Adidaiva and Adiyajna. That is the beginning of 8th Adhyaya. But this concludes our 7th Adhyaya. Thank you very much for patiently listening to me. Jai Shri Krishna. Now the forum is open. The time is too much now. But if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer your questions. The floor is all yours now. Please go ahead and put your questions. Jai Shri Krishna again.
Geeta Didi.
Thank you so much, Vikas Bhaiya, for the explanation with the various real-life scenarios, which helps us to relate better, especially certain messages about being truly learned by not expecting the fruits of action, but continuing to do it each day. So now we can invite people for questions. Please raise your hand and switch on your videos.
Yeah, please go ahead. So it is a little late in the day, but let us take a few questions.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, and Namaskaram to you. I have a question. I'm confused because I heard from one Swamiji. In your Vivechan, you have, most of the time you have used this term Paramatma. You have referred to Bhagwan as Paramatma, but I am told by the ISKCON Swamiji that Paramatma is inside our heart. That is called Paramatma, and Brahma is a Nirakar Swarup, which is in the Srishti, and Bhagwan is a Lord Krishna. But here you are referring to Lord Krishna as Paramatma. So I'm confused. Paramatma is the one who's sitting, who's just the Ansh. In the Ansh form, it's in our heart. Okay. But his Virat Swarup is known as Bhagwan. But you are saying every time Paramatma. So I just want to know the clarification, please.
Okay. Okay, good question. See, when I say Krishna, I don't refer to the bodily presence of Krishna, not the Krishna who was driving the chariot of Arjuna. I mean the cosmic essence of Krishna, not Krishna per se bodily. Krishna per se bodily is an idol. It is there in our puja ghar also. I'm not referring to that Krishna as an idol or as a photo of Krishna or as a person Krishna. Krishna as a person was a human being. He lived the life as a human being. He had to suffer many things in his life. So he
Yeah.
was a human being, Lord Krishna has said. What is referred here is Krishna's cosmic essence, his cosmic essence, which is called Paramatma. So Krishna is Krishna, but Krishna's cosmic essence is Paramatma.
So when you speak about Paramatma, you're
That
talking about the cosmic.
That means the cosmic essence of Krishna, not Krishna as a person. Krishna as a person had a lot of limitations like all human beings have.
Yes.
But Krishna's cosmic essence was limitless.
No, but you also said that we should surrender to the Paramatma. But here, I think that's why I'm confused. Surrender to the Paramatma or surrender to the Bhagwan? Because Bhagwan is Murlidhar. Like according to the Geeta, like Bhagwan is Murlidhar, who's having a like.
Yeah, see, that's why that shloka, Kamaisthairtha jnana prapadyantena devataha tantanyamavasthaya prakrutya niyatasvaya. So this distinguishes between the demigods or the deities, including the Krishna that you are referring. I am referring to the Krishna as a cosmic essence of Krishna. You are referring to Krishna as a person Krishna, whom you are calling as Bhagwan. So Krishna with a flute in his hand.
Yeah.
So that Krishna I am not referring. I am referring to the cosmic essence of Krishna. If you
Oh.
refer to the Krishna as a person, then he is a deity, he is a demigod.
Oh.
Lord has said in this Kamaisthairtha prapadyantena devataha that those who worship their deities, because their knowledge has been hijacked by their kamanas, they go to worship Bhagwan in your definition for getting fulfillment of their desires or for elevation of some of their miseries of life. So they end up in getting that limited things from their deities. But if they come to me, my cosmic essence, I mean, if they come to my cosmic essence, then they never have to go back again in the cycle of birth and death.
What is this cosmic essence? Like,
Cosmic essence is Nirakar of Paramatma, which is formless, attributeless.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that cosmic essence of Paramatma, that is what is referred as Paramatma.
Okay.
What you say about Bhagwan Krishna is okay. Bhagwan Krishna is a person as a Krishna, or you can say is a deity or a demigod. But
Okay.
what is referred in Geeta as Paramatma is
Yeah.
the cosmic essence of Paramatma, not Krishna who was driving Arjuna's chariot. He was
Okay.
a person. He was a human being. Everybody could see him physically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the
Now,
difference.
Now another question I'll quickly, ask you another question. Like I have, constructed a very small temple, and
Yeah.
wherein I have placed a idol of Lord Krishna's Lord Vishnu's 10th incarnation, that is Lord Kalki. So
Yeah.
I have placed the idol there. Just a month back, I did this, and now now it is on the army land. Army has given me the land, but Bhagwan made me the nimit, and whatever I could do it, I have done it. So now each time when I'm going there, I'm very upset because I feel that there is no proper light, but in other Bhagwans they have light. So this my Kalki Lord doesn't have a light. So then I see there is no proper diya kept and all that. So when I come back, I'm very upset. I get upset and I keep thinking only about the Lord, as to why Lord, why it is not there, why it's not there. So how to come out of it?
Do it and then forget about it. If you feel there is no light in his temple, provide the light.
No, I cannot do no, because it is under the charge of some higher authority where I cannot intervene. Now they are saying,
Every evening, can you go there and put a lamp, tel bati, what we call, put little bit of oil in the lamp and put some cotton this thing and put the light. At least that can
no,
be done.
No, they say that we have a Panditji and he will do and he's doing it. You don't interfere now. Your job was to place the idol. We have given you the place. You have done it. Now don't interfere too much. But
Does the Pandit do it, or he also doesn't do it?
yeah, he does. I mean, when I go, I sometimes I see yes, it is done. Sometimes I say it's not. They must be doing it. He must be doing.
Then it's okay. See, you have done your job of providing a temple and installing an idol there. Let other people do their job. Why do you take everything on your head?
No, but I'm very upset. Like when I went today, the other Bhagwanji has a light, a tube light inside the arch where the Lord is kept. But my Lord Kalki Bhagwan didn't have. So I am very upset. I feel like crying.
Imagine that the Kalki Lord is there in your puja ghar, in your house, wherein you have full control, and light the lamp there every day whenever you want. And imagine that you are lighting the lamp for your Kalki God in your house.
Okay.
Mentally, you can worship the God in any form, any shape, any place. God is there everywhere, as we say. And if this kind of situation has come, wherein you are not able to access to the place where you have installed the idol of Paramatma or God, your definition, then you can imagine that the same idol is there in your house and you can light the lamp in your house. Imagine that the God is there in your house. It is all your mental devotion that counts more than the physically walking down there and lighting the lamp there. If your devotion in your mind is strong, you can light the lamp in your house and then also worship the God at your house. That is also there.
But will this come under the attachment? Does this come under attachment or Ichha?
You see, attachment for Paramatma is a good thing. Attachment is a bad thing when it is for the material world or it is for the individual persons, human beings. Attachment with Paramatma is something for which we are all striving. We are trying for getting attached to Paramatma. So that attachment is excellent. If you have that attachment, nothing like it.
Because when I come back, like today also, when I come back, I feel like crying. Why it's like this?
It's great that your attachment to Paramatma is of that high level that you get upset with such things. It is really great attachment. And one should try to get this kind of attachment with Paramatma. So you're lucky to have that kind of attachment in your mind about God. That's really good. But don't take too much of tension of it. Light the lamp in your house and be happy with it.
Thank you so much.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Guruji, I just wanted to ask, in 29th sloka, you say that at the time of death, old age you cannot avoid, sickness also you cannot, but being taking refuge in God, you can at least dilute your pain at the time of going. But we see in this today's world, everybody is in the hospital, old age, they're sick, their families, they are worried, they are in tensions, they are hospitalized, they go in ICU, they remain there, and after certain time, the doctor says he is gone. So how it is possible in present world to do such kind of thing?
You see, the soul, the body, the mind, that has to go from here. What happens? The death means that Jivatma, it leaves the body. And that happens for every individual in the world. There is no individual who can remain, who can survive forever. Somebody at the age of 70, some at the age of 80, somebody at the age of 100 at the most, or maybe 110 at the most. Everyone has to leave his body one day.
Right.
Now the question is how easily this separation can take place of Jivatma with the body. And what Geeta is teaching us is to simplify the process so that with ease, this Jivatma will leave the body with minimized pains to the body. The pains are in the body, not in the Jivatma.
Okay.
The body suffers the pains, not the Jivatma. Jivatma is painless. Jivatma doesn't suffer any pains. Jivatma is free of any vikar, free of sickness. So the body is suffering the pain, and if body has not to suffer the pain, this is the way you can try to separate out your Jivatma and your body. If you are watching the body pain as a distinct witness only, and imagine that my body has become sick now, I have become very old now, I am not able to continue my spiritual sadhana anymore. So God will help me to get rid of this body and put me in another body where I can continue my spiritual sadhana.
Okay, okay. This can be asked.
Yeah, this is the way you can worship to the God.
Okay, okay. Nice. So thank you.
Because a sick body cannot continue the spiritual sadhana. That is what we have read today also. That if you are not healthy, then how can you continue the spiritual sadhana?
Not possible. Not possible.
So let us pray to the God that so long as my body is healthy, I am happy. But the day I am terminally ill, please take me out as quickly as possible and install me in another body so that I can continue my sadhana with you again in my next life. 8th Adhyaya is interesting from that point of view. If we happen to discuss 8th Adhyaya, then all these points are very interesting to discuss that time.
Thank you, thank you. And one more thing that you said that in Ashtanga Yoga, Yama, Niyama, Pranayama, and all this, it takes you nearly one life, yours one life. So if you take Yama one life, Niyama and one life, so the life goes on continuing to get a better spiritual knowledge.
Yeah. So that is what the 6th Adhyaya says, that you live your life and you continue that journey from the same stage where you have left in the last life. So if consisting of 10 steps and you left the earlier life at the second step, the next life you start from the second step onwards. You don't have to go down to the ground again.
Okay, it is like promotion.
Journey, yeah. No sattvic karma goes west. Your karma doesn't go west. I always explain that it is like your bank passbook. At the end of financial year end, you update your passbook. That does not mean your business becomes zero. Your balance is carried forward, no?
Carry for next year, right?
So everything from previous life gets carried forward to the next life.
Guruji, one more question. You in a family, you get good people, you get bad people. Some people help you, some people trouble you. Why this is happening?
This is the result of their karmas as well as your karmas. As we discussed few times, there are three things: Kriyaman, and then Prarabdha and Sanchit. These three things are there. So whatever karmas we do, they pop up anytime, either in this life or in next life. Whatever is you are facing problem with the individuals in this life, maybe they are the characters which were present in your previous life, and you might have troubled them in that life. So you are paying for that now.
Okay. Thank you.
It's an account settlement. Every action of Paramatma we should consider as an account settlement.
Okay.
Jai Shri Krishna, Doctor.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I want to ask one thing, that previously it was told that after death there should not be postmortem. And in cities, there is compulsory postmortem, otherwise you cannot burn that body. So somebody is telling that if postmortem is done, then there will be no gati, he will not get heaven. Is it correct?
It's absolutely wrong. When the life has left the body has become lifeless, then whatever you do to your body doesn't matter at all. Whether you do postmortem, whether you burn it, whether you bury it, it's a matter of destroying the body. However dear the friend, the person may be, if there is some death, then all the people, including his son, his wife also, they get anxiety that let us dispose of this body as quickly as possible. Let us take him to the crematorium as early as possible. Nobody wants to keep the dead body in their house. However dear the person may be, they want to get rid of the dead body as quickly as possible.
No, that is correct, but somebody is telling that postmortem should not be done, otherwise there will be no gati.
You see, then the question of donation of organs would not have come into picture. When we are propagating donation of organs, that means we are taking out the organs from the body, and that is considered as a sattvic karma. That is considered as a punya karma. When you are donating your organs, which are as it is useless, you are donating it to some living person who can use the eyes, for example, the heart maybe, or whatever other things are there, which are usable for other bodies. If you are donating, that means you are taking it from the body. So what is postmortem? Cutting the body. That is also cutting the body. But you cannot avoid the law of the land. If the law of the land demands that if the death has happened in some circumstances which are suspicious and postmortem is a must according to law, then you cannot avoid the law. And whatever is to be done as per law, you are not to be blamed for that. Rather, you will be blamed if you violate the law.
So there will be gati. There is no problem in gati.
The problem if you are following the law, there is no problem. It is not you who are deciding it. The decision is taken by somebody else to do the postmortem, depending on the circumstances of the death. You should not feel guilty that you have done postmortem of somebody. It is not true. The law has demanded it. If he has to blame, he can blame the law, not you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Jai Shri Krishna. First of all, thank you so much for such a beautiful lecture, sir. My question is from 7.3. It says that out of billion of people's, one person come to me, and out of that, one person is there who knows me by my tattva. So I just wanted to know what is the tattva actually. If you can just throw some light.
The ultimate truth that this Vasudevam Sarvaiti. So Vasudev is there everywhere, whether it is the Prakriti, which is Para Prakriti or Apara Prakriti, it is all Paramatma only. This is the Tattva. That Tattva is present in Paramatma's Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. As we discussed in the 7th shloka of this Adhyay, Matta Paradara Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya, Mai Sarvadam Protam Sutre Mani Ganaiva. You take a mala, in the mala there is a thread and there are beads of pearls in that mala. So that mala which is consisting of thread, that thread is also Paramatma, which is holding the mala, and those manigana, those pearls are also Paramatma. So para and apara, both are two forms of Paramatma. One is the manifested form, one is the unmanifested form. Para Prakriti you cannot see, which is the life behind the Apara Prakriti. Para Prakriti is holding the Apara Prakriti. All this is the Tattva of universe. And this Tattva, only one in millions know it well. That this is the Tattva of Paramatma, that it is